Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Show You the Business with your profitability coach, Joanne Leasure. Today's special guest is Liz Hauser from VIP Leadership Mastermind. Liz is a leadership coach and Grant Cardone certified 10X coach. Before she and her husband, Cale, started their leadership business, Cale Hauser Leadership, she was the founder of Deployment Beautiful. Now, with 17 years as a military wife and 8 deployments under her belt, she wrote a book about her experience through Cale's years-long deployment when their boys were little. It's called Forever Faithful, Discovering How to Thrive in Your Marriage While Separated by an Ocean. Don't you love that title? She was also a deployment coach where she showed military wives and girlfriends how to find their confidence, community, and create strong leadership through the challenges of deployment. Now, as a leadership coach and 10X certified coach, Liz brings her expertise to business owners who want to increase their sales and lead their teams with confidence and clarity so they can grow their businesses successfully. So if you get any value from this video, make sure to click that thumbs up button and be sure to subscribe by hitting the bell icon if you want to be notified of future episodes, which air every Thursday morning at 5 a.m. on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Spotify. So now, without further ado, here is Liz and Joanne, and enjoy the show.
Liz Hauser. Tell me, what led you to be a leadership coach and an entrepreneur?
All right. Well, Joanne, I appreciate you having me on here. So I guess I need to give a little bit of back history for how we jumped into leadership coaching and entrepreneurship. So my husband, since we're doing the business together, I'll share a little bit of his history too. So he was in the military for 17 years. And he learned a lot about leadership and also a lot about how to not do leadership. In the military, they really they don't lead very well. They lead very harshly. They don't make connections. And anytime Cale got the chance to lead, he was always very committed in leading with connection and reading on people's levels so that then everybody would want to work together as a team. And he always made a really big impact with anybody that he led. Oftentimes you'd have really mixed matched teams, as you can imagine, in the military that normally would not get along, but he could help everybody get along and move in the same direction. So it's really become a big passion of his because he knows how challenging it is to not only do business, but to lead your own life when you don't have good leadership. So for me, while he was doing military life, I decided that after multiple deployments that I wanted to help military wives and girlfriends be able to navigate through deployment and be able to have confidence to do things on their own, setting goals and meeting them, and also finding their support community while their husbands and boyfriends were gone. So I actually wrote a book called Forever Faithful, Discovering How to Thrive in Your Marriage While Separated by an Ocean. It's about my journey, our journey through Cale's year-long deployment when our boys were little. They were like 2 and 3 years old. And at that point, I realized I've got to figure out how to not just survive, but I've got to thrive through this. And if I can do it, then I need to be able to show other ladies how to do it as well. So that's just my personality. I love to learn through the challenges and be able to help people have more confidence. So fast forward, after Cale got out of the military, we kind of from unplanned circumstances, his contract dried up, and we were left going, what the heck are we going to do? Well, it's been his dream to start a leadership business, and so we're like, okay, let's jump in and let's do this. We also joined Grant Cardone as a 10X certified coach, just such as you are, and so we feel like we have a lot of really great support in being able to help us grow and build that business. So it's really exciting to be able to take what we learned in the military also, and what I've learned with coaching and helping people find their confidence and bring it into the business world, because our finances really, they kind of make or break us. And so I want to teach business owners how to grow and scale confidently. And really the reason that anybody hires employees is so that they can grow and scale their business, multiply their efforts. And so we want to go in and teach them how to do and increase their sales by 40% in less than 90 days so they can hire more people and be able to grow their business.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You said something. I love the fact that you wrote a book, especially a book about military families and, getting on without the person who's been deployed. Because my nephew just recently, my nephew Joshua, he's in the Marines and he just got married last weekend. And
Oh,
they
cool.
are so young. And, prior to getting married, he actually had two kids. So they had one in 2021 and they just had another just a few weeks ago. And they finally decided that they were going to get married. And now she's picking up a young girl. She's picking up and moving wherever he is, which is, from California to North Carolina. And I just kind of think about, or actually Virginia, I just kind of think about how difficult that is, because she's going to be taken away from her network of people and her family and have these two kids, and he's going to go off, and then here she is all the way across the country. So I have to make sure she gets that book. We're going to send it. I'm going to buy it and send it to her as a gift.
Oh, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, it's on Amazon, so it's really easy to get. Yeah, those challenges are hard when you're having to pick up and move to a completely different place. Lots of ladies that would connect and reach out to me, and in my Facebook group were like, I have nobody here that understands what I'm going through. And so just helping them find their community and to have confidence is really, really huge.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Ever faithful, discovering how to thrive in your marriage while separated by an ocean. I love that. Get out and get that one. Well, what's the difference about you versus other leadership coaches?
That is a great question. Kel and I were actually just going over that because I'm just going to be super honest with you, because when you think of a leadership coach, I think what most people think of is somebody who comes in there and just kind of fluffs things up, makes everybody feel comfortable, makes sure nobody gets offended, and everybody knows what their personality type is. And it feels like the focus on most leadership is how do you make everybody feel comfortable? But the problem is that when you're comfortable, you're not moving and you're not growing. So it's not that I don't want people to feel comfortable. What we come in and what we do is we teach leaders how to lead with confidence, to know what they're doing. So they're not like just, I don't know, just trying to do do things that aren't very well thought out, to sort of lead with confidence, to create connections that are genuine, because people love to come in to work where they feel connected, they feel valued, and also creating inspiration so that when you have people that are not just motivated from the outside, but they're inspired from the inside, and they know that success in your business means success for them and vice versa, that's when they're ready to show up. That's when they're ready to put everything in there, and that what they do matters. So to answer your question, what makes us different is one of our core values is, well, really our four core values is relationships, integrity, forthright, and results. And the one that stands out to me the most is forthright, because we will be honest with you. We will take a look at your environment and go, this is, we're all about like getting in there and getting dirty with you. Like we want to like be in the mess with you. We're relatable, we're relevant, and we're able to kind of see, gosh, if you just tweak this one thing, then people are going to start connecting or understanding better what you're trying to say. And so it takes somebody to come in there like us to be able to be honest with you. We're going to be honest. We're going to tell you what needs to be changed in order for you to grow successfully. And sometimes that means changing the way that you do things so that you can come up with a better process. Sometimes that means having to let go of somebody that's not aligned with you and that is really causing havoc in your business. And I think a lot of business owners have a hard time being upfront and honest, and just like knowing where they need to let things go to remove the garbage, essentially. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and there is a lot of garbage out there because we come with our own experiences, right? And so, when you talk about leading with confidence, we've had people in our lives or whatever the circumstances were, the failures that we've been through, that sometimes it causes us to shrink away. Sometimes I wish I was a kid again, so to speak, because I thought differently than I think now. You know what I mean? So that's
Yes,
awesome.
absolutely.
What is the best advice you have for someone in a new leadership position?
Okay, this is a really good question because we find a lot of people getting put into leadership positions that haven't had any training. Usually, imagine you've got somebody who is the top salesperson in your business, and you go, "You're the best at it. We have an open position right now. Why don't you jump in there and you teach everybody and you direct everybody?" Well, just because you're a good salesperson doesn't mean you're a good leader, and that's not anything bad on them. We believe that leadership is not born, but it's actually developed. So, what I would encourage somebody who is in a new leadership position is honestly to just really humble themselves and say, it's okay for me to go, I don't know how to do this, or I need help with this. I think a lot of people get like, I should know how to do this, and I don't want somebody else telling me how to do it. Because when you can be open-minded to changing in the ways that you need to so that you can lead your people successfully, it's going to make a huge difference. So I would just encourage them to, one, seek out some leadership coaching, which is what we love to do to help you become more confident. Reach out to their leadership and say, I'm really excited to be in this position. Can you please coach me or help me understand how I can be a good leader? Because I really want to do the best that I can to help my team grow and succeed. Jumping into really daily trainings and things like that. We do that through Cardone University, which is fantastic. Even just taking 10 minutes a day to learn keeps your brain fresh and helps you to go, gosh, that's something I've not thought of before. I'm going to instill that into today and see how that goes. So those are a couple of the things that I would encourage them to do.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. People don't realize, now I'm a small business owner, but I used to be in corporate for many, many years, and they don't realize that there are actual dollars for training like this. And if they just asked, it would
Yes.
spark something, because not every boss, we'll call them, not every supervisor or manager even thinks to even offer that. But if you knew that it's probably available to you, the dollars, you could come seek out a professional, who can actually help. Because you're right. When I was going through my corporate career, I did get put into a leadership position. And, it was because really of the fact that I did a lot, in my work. So it's kind of like you think you're rewarding somebody because they do a lot. I'll put you in a leadership position, but you had no training.
Right.
So if I knew what I knew now, I would have asked for it. That's
Right.
great advice. That's great.
And
advice.
what we encourage business owners to do is, rather than waiting until the person gets into the leadership position and then you start training them, because you're kind of just setting them up for failure, because they're like a fish out of water. They don't know what to do. And then they're like, this is way more than I can handle. They get overwhelmed and then they wind up quitting oftentimes. But find those leaders before you get to that time where you need them, and start training them, giving them opportunities to just lead small teams while you're watching along or while you're giving advice, so that when they step into that position, then they feel confident. They know what they're doing, and now they're taking everything they've learned and they're putting it into practice. It's just a natural progression.
Yeah, that's great advice. What's the best advice for a salesperson who wants to increase their sales?
All right. So another aspect that we do is we do sales training for. Right now, our focus is with financial reps and advisors, and going into places like Northwestern Mutual and just showing them how to whether train their sales team. Will come and do that, or just training one-on-one. So the best advice I would say is really doing training daily, as well as role play daily. It is said that when you learn something new, if you don't put it into practice or continue learning, you really forget about it after 12 hours. Like, I don't know about you, but when I go to I love going to sleep, but I'm always afraid to stop my work in the evening because I'm like, I'm going to have to reset in the morning because it takes a little bit more time to get going. So if you can plan a part of your day, whether it's in the morning while you're getting ready or while you're driving to work, and just having that, like, it's time when you're just not really having much to think about anyways, that you are listening to some training. I do that on Cardone, and I love it because one, it increases my confidence, and two, it puts into mind like, ooh, I'm going to try that. That objection is really good, knowing how to handle that. And it really gives you the drive that you need and reminding yourself what you're working on. So that's the biggest thing I would say.
Yeah, no, that's great. And in
Yeah.
the Cardone U, because I also train, Liz and I are both, as she said earlier, in the same program. But what I love are the sale rally calls where we do role play. And so then
Yes.
you put something that you learned into practice, and you do it with the ninjas of sales within Cardone's team. And you're absolutely right. You do forget if you don't do that, if you don't put it in practice. I've got journals to prove it. You can go back a couple of years and like, whatever happened with that idea that,
What is this?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you brought up about the role play too. So I've just recently been just started doing role play with my husband Kale in the morning. So I'll listen to Cardone U, and then I'll kind of practice it. And don't feel like you have to be perfect when you're practicing. Like, that's the purpose of it, is to be awkward and to work it out with somebody else so that when you hop on the phone, then you've got a little bit more together. And really just kind of it's not all about just learning one script or one thing to say, because you're going to get a variety of different people. So just having an arsenal of different scripts or different closes that you can have, or different ways to work through the objection, can be really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Liz, at the end of last year, one of the things that George and I, George, by the way, to all our listeners, is my husband. One of the things that George and I did was that we hired someone, in our office, and he's absolutely great. Love his personality, and he was like a gem to find. But we are having a hard time finding good people. So, what would you say to a business owner who struggles to find good people to hire?
Okay, that is a question that we are hearing all the time. And it's become an even bigger challenge than normal, as well, it seems like a lot of people are getting paid to stay home by the government, and just getting people that are motivated to show up and just really give it their all. So one of the things that we encourage and we teach on is our attract, hire, and retain blueprint. So first of all, you want to make sure that you are understanding what your core values are, what it is that you stand for, what is important in your business. That just lays the groundwork. And when you know that, then you're going to start attracting the right people. You're going to start and also detracting the wrong people that aren't meant for your business. So really using your core values as a measuring stick for how you hire people. For instance, we also have our business owners do a 3-step interview process.
Mm-hmm.
If they've made it through the first 2, then the third one is a core values presentation. And that is them taking your core values. It's just a 5-minute presentation in front of you and your executive staff. They just present for 5 minutes and say what your core values are and how they instill their core values into their life, and into whether it's in their career or just personal life. And when they do that, you're going to find out a couple of things. You're going to find out, how sold are they on those core values? Do they align with those core values? Because you're going to find out right away if they don't. It's going to feel really awkward to them. It's going to feel like they're just making things up. And also, if they go like more than 5 minutes, like say they go on and on for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, which, we all have those moments where we just ramble on, you're going to find out that they're not very good at following directions, because that's important as well. Because the final, 15 minutes of that interview should be the executive staff asking questions back and forth. So that is the attract part. And then also, Then that goes with the hiring, and then just making sure that you hire slow and fire fast. And I know that sounds backwards because most people are just hiring out of desperation. You're like, you are an able body, you are breathing, and you're here right now, and I just need help. Now, granted, there are some times when you just need to hire somebody temporarily just to kind of take care of the back end stuff, but make sure that they understand that and that you know that. There's so many people that get hired on as a temporary and they wind up staying on for months, and they were never really sold on staying for that long. So when you're hiring, you want to make sure that they align with your core values, because otherwise you're wasting money and time on training them. And then also, just having a way that you're going to retain them and keep them, which means taking time to get to know them, having a process where you an onboarding process, showing them what your culture is, that your culture aligns with your core values. Because when people are sold on your core values and it's reflected in all of your business, then they're going to stay with you long term. And that's usually what we want. We don't want to keep hiring somebody every 3-6 months or so. So that is what that's what we encourage business owners to do.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It takes so much out of you to put in the training, and it's so expensive to go through people so often. And it's sometimes it's not even that they were bad, it's that they weren't happy, probably because they didn't take your advice and go through those core values, and we're not all aligned. So that sounds like a very good piece of advice. So Liz, you got to tell us, how do we get in touch with you? What can we do?
All right. So you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, of course, and I'm also on Facebook. But if one of the things that we would love to share with you is our VIP Leadership Mastermind. So you can go to the VIP Leadership Mastermind.com. This is a really easy way for you to really learn what it is that we do. We're really excited. We just launched it just a week or two ago. And so what this says, it's only $97 a month. The first month that you sign up, you'll get it for 50% off. There's no contract. You can leave whenever you want, but you're going to get a lot of great value, because what we do is once a week, we do our mastermind leadership coaching, which we teach you different things, whether it's the attract, hire, retain, or how to communicate well with your employees, or how to get them engaged and actually moving in the same direction. We're going to do some training there. We also do role play and Q&A if there's some things that you want us to work through. And then once a week, we also have a second group coaching where we do our sales execution workshop. And this is where we will teach you some of Grant's amazing sales techniques. We share with you some of the Cardone U trainings, which are fantastic, and just help you work with, how to create those right scripts, how to handle the objections and not shy away from them, and how to close more sales. Really, that's our reason for wanting to work with you, is to help you close more sales, to help you increase your sales by 40% in less than 90 days, so that you can begin growing your business and finding that success. So yeah, if you're wanting to join that, we would love to have you hop on. It's VIP Leadership Mastermind.com. And you can just go ahead and jump in today. We've got our next Leadership Mastermind happening tomorrow night. On Thursdays evening at 6:30 and Tuesday at 3:30, and that's Eastern Standard Time.
Awesome. Awesome. So you heard it from here. We are definitely going to log in and go to VIPleadershipsmastermind.com. We're going to find Liz Hauser on LinkedIn, reach out to you. And, you and I are, like we said, we're in the same group. So what I love is at the end of our coaching calls, usually we go through a Grant Cardone quote or a piece of information. But I want to leave it to you. I don't know if you have anything close by or if you know anything by heart, but if you've got a quote or something that you learned, a key piece of something that you can offer our audience from Grant, I'd love to hear it and share it.
Okay. Love it. Love it. Yes. One of my favorite things right now that I'm continually using is Grant says, commit completely now and figure the rest out later. I can't tell you how many times I've missed opportunities because I think I got to figure it all out. I think I have to feel comfortable. I have to have the script all right. But since I've been jumping into that and just go commit now and figure the rest out later, I've had some really awkward moments. However, I've gotten things done. And I'm telling you, like just hopping on, getting into doing strategy calls. I've had moments where I'm literally figuring out my script 30 minutes ahead and coming up with a funnel to be able to share with them because we've just, added some new program. And I'm like, holy smokes. Okay, cutting it short, but nothing like having the fire under your butt to be like, get it done now rather than waiting a week or two to get it done.
Oh, that's great. I love it. I love it. Well, Liz, we're going to make it a 10X day. We're going to do the 10X.
10X.
And thanks for coming to the show. This was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joanne. I appreciate it.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.